the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics.
Hi guys, this is Zaya and welcome to Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers review the best new gaming laptops. Gamers are an impatient bunch, and I've got a laptop just for you. Let's look at the top 3 reasons why the Acer Predator Helios 300 is perfect for the impatient gamer. Number 1. Its 11th Gen Intel Core i7 processor, which brings out the potential of the GPU's high-speed GDDR6 memory to ensure faster experience with higher frame rates and lower latency. Gamers hate long load times. That's why our second reason is the Helios 300's 2TB PCIe SSD. The SSD operates at PCIe Gen 4 speeds, giving you incredible read-write speeds for a faster response time. If all this wasn't enough, check out reason number 3. The 5th Gen Aeroblade 3D technology plus vortex flow, which lets you say goodbye to heating issues. Shout out to the Predator Sense dashboard, which lets you monitor your system, overclock, and customize everything instantly from one place. I think it's clear that this system is geared for super fast results. Get your Acer Helios 300 powered by 11th Gen Intel Core processor now.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to LG Ultragear presents Tec Gauntlet Season 4, powered by Crucial. Our gaming partner is Intel, and our apparel partner is 656. My name is Cribs, and today I have with me CCV, and we're going to be your casters for the day.
Yeah, I mean, again, another set of group stage matches here, the Gauntlet. Every single day we progress further and further into the group stages. Every single day we get closer into deciding which 8 teams will be the ones who will be heading into the playoffs. Well, today it's not 8, it's 4. It's 2 best of 3s, which will be in front of us. One at 4 p.m. right now, and the other at 8 p.m. in the night. And the match on hand, it's going to be God Particles up against Salt Esports. Great matchup. Both of these teams, they've been making names for themselves, and we've been seeing them improving. Now, they've had various results over the past few seasons. The players themselves changing their teams as well. The rosters undergoing a lot of a lot of changes like I just mentioned means that now I think everything has settled down all over in South Asian Valorant. These rosters are going to be finals as well. The players in them and their performances are going to be final. But what isn't final so far are the MVP standings. The Gauntlet season 4 more specifically has been going on, but it's just the group stages. And already the amount of firepower we have seen from these 4 lads in front of our screen scripts, I mean, it has been amazing.
I agree. Rofuel, Sammy, Paradox, and Rossi, these guys are the best of the best at what they do, and they are good at racking up a whole lot of kills. Rofuel, first of all, leading by charts, not only in terms of his individual kills, but even his team is up there on the top of his group standings. Exceed Esports and True Rippers are not far from the top, and with the help of Sammy and Paradox, they can obviously keep venturing even further. But unfortunately, we won't be seeing any of these players in at least the first matchup today. Although that doesn't mean that those two teams got particles and Salt Esports. That doesn't mean that they aren't full of some talent. These guys have some ridiculous amount of teamwork that they put together, and the way that they have improved in the last few months, both these teams, it's impeccable.
Absolutely. And the results also speak for themselves. Having a look at the group standings, seeing other performances of these teams, it shows that they have been improving. I mean, look at God Particles right now. I mean, next to Enigma Gaming, yes. Okay, Enigma Gaming, they are the giants in this entire season. As of now, no one can defeat them, but God Particles are a close second. Their streak has been going on. They've lost to Enigma, but they still have an extremely strong hold on that second seed. As the side of Salt Esports, well, they'd like to improve. They have not played a lot of matches. So far, they've only played 3 best of 3s. And that's the thing. They have that advantage. They have a couple of additional more BO3s remaining in the season, because of which we cannot ideally call them out that, oh, they're going to stay, in the bottom 4. They'll be in the 6th or 7th position. No. With how it stands, Salt Esports have a good chance of getting into the top 4. However, they need to work for it, and that work has got to start right now. So both of these teams, looking at the group standings, they're playing for 2 very different objectives. God Particles, what they want is to make sure no one can contest them in that second seed position. No one can take second position away from them. They know they cannot overtake Enigma Gaming, but they have to make sure that August 5 or Xeely do not take a second. Meanwhile, for the side of Salt Esports, they just need to grab more and more points in order to get into the top 4, thus landing a spot in the playoffs.
Yeah, and while Salt Esports might look to be in the danger zone right now, it's probably because they haven't played all that many matches. In fact, you're going to
Exactly.
see a lot more from Salt Esports in the coming days, because they have only played 3 matches so far, in which they managed to win 1 game and another map from the other games that they have played, which isn't really a bad score up until now. They still have a great chance of coming back, and if they win just this 1 game today, they will be tied with the team right above them, and then they could be very well on their way to coming into the green zone.
I agree. But now, in order to do that, Salt Esports, they have to defeat their opponents today. And their opponents are none other than God Particles. Let's have them up on our screens. And they are a team who have been improving. I mean, if in the dictionary there's a way to show improvement, it is going to be this roster of God Particles. All these members, every single one of them, ever since for the past 1.5 months they've been together, all of these lads just have been grinding it out non-stop, not just here at the Gauntlet, in other tournaments, even in their behind the scenes, like their ward reviews, their practice sessions. Everyone has been going absolutely nuts with the practice that they have been giving for themselves as individuals and as a whole unit, as a score roster. God Particles has reached new heights, and they'd like to secure their spot as one of the tier 1 teams of South Asia, and they're very close to doing so. Looking at their recent performances, they've had good results, but we still can expect a bit more from them in the future, especially seeing how they're performing. I want to see a great performance over at the playoffs once those happen in March. But like the last match God Particles played, it was like, I believe 2 days ago here, the Gauntlet, they played against none other than Enigma Gaming. Yes, they did end up losing 0-2 in the best of 3, but the matches, more specifically, they were quite good. The maps which they played, the playstyles which they had, it showcased that God Particles now really know what they're doing, and it's become more of a let's just refine with what we have, and they don't have any major issues as of now.
Yeah, and even when they do seem to have issues, they cover them up so quickly. In fact, I've seen them sometimes deliberately put some of their players in dangerous positions in which they might get baited into thinking that they have the area, and their opponents, as soon as they come and kill that one particular player in danger, everyone else just springs the trap and they turn things around 180 degrees. In fact, some of these players have been in the spotlight for way too long, and that's why we're going to take a look at one of them, powered by Crucial.
Yeah, having a look at the player spotlight, it's going to be Logista, yeah, the primary sentinel. Logista, his role quite important. There have been times where we have seen Logista like play other agents as well. Like I was mentioning, just like 2 days ago, he was on the sky up against Enigma, which is the initiator. And still, the main thing is his skills aren't always going to be the highest, but he will maintain a positive KD as a sentinel, as an anchor on defense. That is very important. The fact that while an execute is happening, you can pick off one, maybe even multiple attackers, means a lot to your team, means a lot to the reinforcements who will be going for the retake. And B, it means that he focuses a lot more on his utility. And seeing Logista's playstyle, it just speaks volumes about how he can easily set his teammates up for success, whether it be the initiator role he's playing or it be something like a Cypher that we are more accustomed to him playing.
So while Logista is out there securing space for his teammates and making sure that they're set up for success, players like Shivi and Knight Rider tend to go ahead and do exactly that. They play on the back of Logista's setup and they get into these
Yeah.
dangerous positions from where they have such a high potential of turning around and getting multi kills. And these are the kind of moments that you see all in the highlight plays. And that's exactly why God Particles is such an entertaining team to watch. But their opponents, they are also a force to be reckoned with. Let's take a look at Salt Esports and who all out there in the team.
Yeah, having a look at the Salt Esports roster as well, I have to say that these guys, they've been also putting in the performances already. Yeah, the thing is, over here at the Gauntlet, they haven't played as many matches. Both of us have highlighted that point. That's why, as of now, they're towards the bottom stages of the table, but very quickly they can rack up those points. And I think that's the major factor. Seeing them play against various opponents, seeing them play in various tournaments here as well, just showcases like the core roster that's been together for a while, that hasn't changed. And this roster, like together, just the playstyle that they have, it can and it has dealt damage to the teams. The only teams which Salt Esports at times can fall short up against are the big names, both here in India and even their home country Pakistan. Teams such as Exploit is where Salt Esports really need to find a footing. But how it stands right now, it doesn't mean that they can't. They absolutely can. They just have to put in the work, which they already are doing. Seeing some of their previous matches, it has been a while since we've seen Salt here, the Gauntlet. Their last match was about a month ago against August 5. And even then, they had good performances. They ended up defeating August 5 on the map of Icebox, went very close on the map of Haven, like all 24 rounds. I think it went 11-13 or something along the lines of that. And against a team like August 5, if Salt Esports can achieve that, they can do a lot.
Yeah, definitely. The only advantage that God Particles has over a team like, let's say, Oculus 5 is that they've stuck together for longer. And if they can take a crack at Oculus 5, then God Particles shouldn't be that much of a stretch. They're somewhat in
Yeah.
the same ballpark. So they have wrestled with opponents of more or less the same size in the past. And of course, Salt Esports, given their recent performance in the VCC, we have seen incredible plays from them on every single map, which means there aren't really all that many chinks that their opponents, God Particles, can exploit today. So if God Particles win around, it will have to be on the basis of their own strengths and their own strategies. They can't just go around hoping to punish the mistakes of Salty Sports, and they can't use that as their bread and butter strat.
Absolutely. I think both of the teams, even in the maps that we'll be seeing them play as well, it's got to be on their own strengths. And I think the strengths for all of these teams and specifically the players are themselves, the players. So let's have a look at one of the key players on the side of Salt Esports as well. And what role does he have in the entire roster? And it's going to be another Sentinel. It's going to be Darky. And the thing is, yet again, now Darky is the kind of person who can get kills if it's his day. Like, he won't be the top fragger, and not always. Like, that role will certainly be reserved for the entry fragger for the Jet. However, he can have consistent performances. Absolutely. He's very close to his teammates, and that's the key factor. Not only can he absolutely, use his utility to his best, but like we are seeing right now with the statistics he has on screen, 250 average combat score, 91 kills. He can pick off his enemies regardless of the situation you put him. And nonetheless, whatever agent archetype he's playing, mainly a sentinel, even if he wants to play something along the lines of a controller and initiator, he will still find success on attack and on defense.
Yeah, but you can't have too many players like Darky in one team. This man is
Mhm.
incredibly disciplined, and that's where the strength of this team lies. That's why the backbone is so secure of Salt Esports. But then there have been several occasions where I see that Salt Esports are just simply not taking the risks that are required to win the round. So while the discipline is great, you need to be a little daring sometimes. And I feel like if Salt Esports can let go of their inhibitions, let go of their fears, and just play their hearts out, maybe things could, seem to be even better for them, although it's much easier said than done.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to have to see them play, and we're going to have to see where exactly will they be playing. So let's have a look at the veto screen. Let's have a look at the three maps that we potentially may be seeing today. The decider is up for debate, but the first two, oh, they're quite interesting. Haven and Breeze. We were just talking about how on the map of Haven, the side of Salt Esports, they went 13-11 against Ogless 5, and that was a month ago. So one can only imagine what work they must have put in behind the scenes, reviewing that certain match, scrimming this match against other teams in their private time, and it means that they have made a solid decision by picking this map. Now, on the other hand, with God Particles choosing Breeze, it shows the same thing. It's a very strong map for their side, for the side of GP, and with them picking, I think, Crips, what we were talking about, both the teams playing to their strengths is really going to be the major theme of this entire matchup. The teams do not want to capitalize on the mistakes of their opponents, they just want to play their own Valorant, improve that, refine that, rectify any mistakes, and then just be the team which comes out on top. That here is going to be the theory being applied by both Salt Esports and God Particles. And then finally, we have the decider map of Bind as well, because, yeah, why not?
Why not, indeed? Salty Sports picking up Haven, in my opinion, they've done so because they are really good at rotating, especially if they start out on the defense side. Then I think they have the ability to capture information, that too without having their players extend or go out there themselves to capture that information. They just have the inkling and they rotate quickly enough to either bolster the side or just give it up if they want to play for the retake. So in case they're starting on the defensive side, Salty Sports should be having a good time in Haven. Although when we move on to Breeze, God Particles obviously is the kind of team that is a lot more
Mm-hmm.
comfortable with taking risks. So an open map
True.
like Breeze where there's several angles where God Particles can throw curveballs from, I think it suits them perfectly.
Absolutely. Now, staying on topic for Haven, staying on topic for map number one, there is one question I want to ask you, Crips. From what we have seen with both of these teams, when we last saw Salt Esports against August 5 here on Haven, they opted for a double initiator, Sova, and Breach composition. Meanwhile, for the side of God Particles, when we saw them a day before yesterday against Enigma, on this very map, the side of God Particles opted for a double duelist, Jet and Reina. Now, double duelist Jet and Reina, it used to be very popular. It still is popular on, well, you can say such a map such as Icebox, and even at times here at the Esports Club, we have seen many Southeast Asian teams pick this comp on Haven as well. But what major difference are you going to be seeing if the teams go for the same comps, which is going to be double initiator up against double duelist?
Honestly, one would expect a team like God Particles to pick up the Breach, right? They are the kind of team that
Mm-hmm.
relies a lot on momentum, and Breach just screams momentum all the way. You would expect a team like God Particles to go for those flashy combos, the pump and jump kind of playstyle. Although, if Salty Sports are the ones who are picking up Breach, then it's a little bit of a personality mismatch. Hey, I don't have a specific answer for you regarding your double duelist versus double initiator
Mm-hmm.
combination, but I really think that a breach in the hands of God Particles could majorly create problems for Salty Sports. Although, if Salty Sports go for a similar lineup where they also pick up breach, I think it won't be all that effective because God Particles are just so used to having that character in their compositions. They know how to play against
Exactly.
it as well. So, in case
Mm-hmm.
both the teams go for a double initiator composition, I think God Particles will be the one team that comes out on top. Although if double duelists are also being picked up, then the improbability factor is just a bit too much. There's too much randomness in the air, so I can't properly predict what's going to happen at that point.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, exactly. You're having a look at the roster of God Particles. There's just one man you associate Breach with. I mean, Shivi used to be one of the very early Breach mains that South Asian Valorant has seen. From, previous rosters as well, there used to be a time where a lot of people looked forward to seeing Shivi, especially on the map of Split, sorry. And he used to play the Breach there where not a lot of teams picked up Breach. He's an agent who is being picked up more and more. He's being more inclusive in compositions quite recently. But I'm talking a couple of months ago, and that's when Shivi used to shine. Of course, now again, rosters have changed, things have changed, the entire, one can say, the meta on the side of Valorant, and specifically South Asian Valorant has changed as well. Not to mention, we will not be seeing the map of Split anytime soon here. So yeah, the question is still up for debate. Are we going to see double initiative from the side of God Particles? Because another thing is, the one initiator that we did see, which I was talking about earlier, Logista, he was playing the Sky. There was no Sova from the side of God Particles chosen at all when they played against Enigma on the map of Haven. And again, very important question, that why the Sky over the Sova? I get you have the flashes, but for the flashes you have the Reyna as well. Is it a method? Is it a means to just bombard your opponent with flashes? And with that, someone like Scargod, who is on the jet, can easily get kills, can easily pick off members? Or is there some other theory that the members of God Particles can apply if they go for that double duelist comp?
I mean, if they go for a double duelist comp, they will just have to be comfortable with the risk. And speaking of
Yeah.
risk, Haven is only a worsened risk towards the mid area. Most of the teams have a very definite way of playing towards the C and the A side, towards the extremities of the map. But the timing of that attack on mid and the risk factor of how deep you intend to go in there is probably what will determine the victory or loss in this game. Let's go into the agent selection, and these guys are picking up things fast. A Cypher does come through for Logista. It's been a while since I've seen Cypher being picked up in Haven. All the games that we've been seeing in the last few days have either had a Chamber or a Killjoy. So good
Yep.
to see that Cypher, but like you said, CCB, there is going to be a breach on the side of Salt Esports.
Mm-hmm. That is there, and I expect Stranger to pick up the Sova. I don't think there's going to be any difference. However, for God Particles, yeah, now it's going to be Knight Rider picking up the Dive, picking up the Jet, and Scargod, who used to be the Jet, well, at least day before yesterday, aims to go for the Sky. Oh, he will. So it is going to be double initiative from the side of God Particles. Shivi also on an initiator, but no Breach, no Chamber, no Killjoy. For the side of Salt Esports as well, even they'll be opting for the same composition, but we are only noticing a couple of differences. They're just going to be in the initiators you have on board. Sky versus Breach, and how they'll be using their utility is going to be a big factor, as we can have a look at all members of God Particles right now.
Another major factor about the Cypher versus the Killjoy battle is that the Cypher usually doesn't play from the site. You will most likely see Logista somewhere up
True.
in heaven, and he'll obviously be concealed by the enemy smokes, right? So he knows that this guy's not going to have vision. He's most likely going to rely on creative placement of his trapwire so that they somehow get highlighted by the smoke and he ends up getting a free kill. And that, I think, is a bit risky because then he's just banking on Salt Esports being careless. You can't leave that up to chance. Salt Esports, on the other hand, obviously because they have Killjoy, they will most likely be trying to delay and disrupt the side of their opponents using the nano swarms and hopefully causing some damage as well that way. So you highlighted the Sky versus Sova. I talked about the Sentinels. What's going
Well,
to
let's
boil
just
down
see the
to are
match.
the Jets. Yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And as it stands right now, God Particles, well, they are on the brink of just, pushing into Garage. And it is going to be just free really straight for their side. They can move in pretty much scotch-free, except for that one Trailblazer that gives away the location of the Sky. Jivix, in the meanwhile, has quite aggressively with the Sheriff, no armor, pushed up towards C-Long. This can be a mistake. If he dies, however, he makes the smarter choice of falling back. There is still Logista in Garage. That is something the members of Salt Esports have to be aware of, as the remaining members of God Particles look to get into the B-bomb side. Just again, God Particles, they're looking for an opportunity, somewhere to get kills, and it's going to be Jivix with a headshot. Stranger fires even more bullets into the skulls of the attackers, and plenty of people are falling. And look at these two defenders, they've completely just been lopsided. They have just trying to make that stronghold, but in doing so, the attackers entirely surrounded them, and only one remains from Salt Esports.
Demon, a 1v2 retake ahead of him. Luckily, he doesn't have to deal with any utility placement, but the crossfire is deadly. He's got 2 smokes. He can try to block off one of these regions, but as an Astra, it's just simply not convenient enough. Knight Rider with a quad kill in the pistol, ensuring his team gets the round, which could have very well gone south. These people, God Particles, were just playing on so many things over here. I mean, you got Logista deep inside towards Garage, hoping that he can make a surprise play after his teammates have already been revealed towards B. And even if Logista died, Skargod tried his best to hold on. In fact, Skargod was trapped in such an awkward spot. If it wasn't for Knight Rider just blasting into the A side, then Skargod's death would have been in vain. They wouldn't have been able to capitalize on that sacrifice. Oh, they had to kill 2 of their players in order to somehow get into the A side, and then it worked. Knight Rider this time, after having captured 4 kills in the last round, seeks to get 3 more in this one and hopefully have his Blade Storm available. 1 secured, another one almost in the bag, and he's just popping off.
Exactly, simple kills for him. It's a simple round. The members of God Particles, they quite literally walk into the A bomb side. Demon, oh, that could have been a second kill for him, but Chivi denies him with that Sheriff, and it's going to be Salt Esports. Well, only Jivix remaining now in the B bomb side, looking for an off-guard kill. The classic right click, 63 HP. Quickly down to none, and quickly up to 2 is the round count for the side of God Particles. So again, only a single casualty. It was an anti-eco. Done and dusted, get it over with. No one really thinks it's an important round. It's done. Now Salt Esports will be looking for the buy round. However, there's one piece of utility that has already been unlocked, which in the right hands, and I truly believe it's the right hands of Knight Rider, that can carry this team to another round win. Now, having a look at the weaponry, Salt Esports, obviously they've got rifles on board. They have the better armory in their side, but the Blade Storm that Knight Rider has, if he can pick off the influential kills, if he can give those specific rifles to his teammates as well, it will be a big help to them.
And now that the Shock Dart has broken all this utility, there's nothing to tell the side of the defenders that Knight Rider is already over here. He invades so deep into A lane, gets a nice kill onto Gunner, almost secured the Vandal as well. But hey, his death is not in vain. Look at what's done now. Skargod is already inside Garage. Absolutely no way for Darky to figure that out, because he was expecting a push towards the B side, not Garage. And because of that, C is in shambles now. The distraction plays from God Particles are just too good over here. They get one player to die somewhere in another part of the map, and that distracts the side of Salt Esports so much that they practically abandon C. Give it up for free.
Look at Logista again. I love this positioning, because not only is he playing something of a lurk, like a passive lurk, and he's on the flank watch, but more specifically the amount of information he's giving to his team. He knows that no one is coming from attacker spawn, so he's relaying to his teammates that, oh well, surely they've got to be defender spawn right now. I mean, we killed everyone on B. That's exactly what Knight Rider did by killing Gunner. And then because C site was also obliterated and all the defenders were killed, the surviving members have to be on A. And since they're not coming from attacker spawn, they've got to be on defender spawn, and God Particles are hunting them down. They're here on Heaven. They've been flashed. The recon bolt goes through. Are any of the defenders gonna die? Well, that's one death. Another rifle dropped, and that's another rifle picked up. Skargod now has the Phantom, exactly what we were talking about, on the shoulders of Knight Rider. Getting that entry kill, it meant a lot more than the kill. It didn't just mean Gunner died. It meant the area that God Particles were able to achieve. And with how they were able to kill the members over at C, like you were mentioning, like you were giving the analysis, it was just a great round. But Salt Esports, after this round, they've got to spring back up. This, to them, is going to be an upgraded Pistols Eco. Not a very confident round, but the next one, they surely need to rack up some of them.
I mean, once again, God Particles are trying to enter the A side, but will they actually end up going here? They haven't done so in the last 3 rounds, and it stands to reason that they'll have some surprises for us here as well. But they're being patient. They're hoping that Salt Esports will overextend. Of course, they're in an eco, so they expect Salt Esports to be a little more liberal. That's why they're being so patient.
They do. And again, looking at, the Astra from the side of Salt Esports, she's pushed up quite towards C-Long. So Salt Esports, no, this isn't a fake. God Particles members, they're right here on the outskirts of the A-bomb side, and they're ready to execute any second.
And here comes the execution. Seeker spot. Knight Rider moving inside. Gravity Veil sucking into Gunner, but he's still not able to secure the kill. Finally, a flash has to come through to enable him. And that is it. The A side crumbles. It's just Demon left. He's the one who told his team that, yep, this hit is real. It's as real as the sun and it's coming. But what do those warnings give him? Nothing but an impossible retake.
Right, the sad thing is he can't even retrieve any weaponry. Jivix had that one hero Vandal on the side of Salt Esports, and again, it's just an attacker territory. No one from God Particles is going to allow him to pick it up. No one from God Particles is going to allow him to peek in angle as well, let alone get those rifles, retrieve them to his team. That's going to be round number 4. Again, a single casualty for GP. They are really balling in credits right now. They don't have to worry about the economy. Both of the teams, their alt economy as well. I mean, we just saw the Seekers come out. So they're investing ultimates quite regularly. They're not saving them up. I like that.
Yeah.
But more so, I want to see those ultimates come out from the side of Salt Esports as well. I want to see Jivix go ham with that Blade Storm. He just hasn't had the opportunity because so far he's only gotten 2 kills. He can't build up those ultimate points.
Exactly. Like, Knight Rider got that quad kill in the first round. Easy Blade Storm for the third. And then even Scargott got that triple kill. Easy Seek is available. And they're getting access to these ultimates. And they're using them frequently too. Salt Esports have just not even gotten enough momentum to farm up those ultimates. I mean, Garan and Daki have not even gotten a single kill yet. So that tells you all you need to know about the difference in firepower.
It does, and now there's a difference and a change in momentum from the side of God Particles. Yet again, just like the previous round, they're waiting for Salt Esports to just peek a corner, peek an angle, just give any semblance of opportunity, something along the lines of that for the attack. However, Salt Esports, they're the smarter bunch. They're not going to do anything. They're going to waste the time. Speaking of time, half of the action phase is now over. 50 seconds remain on the clock. God Particles are ready for yet another A execute. The Astral Stars are going to go off. Darky, he quickly spots one of the players. Wide peeks in the smoke, looking for the spam fire. Again, doesn't find anybody. And the members of God Particles, they get free access into the bomb side. But it is the retake that's going to be the more difficult job to deal with.
I know, but the retake utility, is it available? I don't think it is. Knight Rider already on the backstab while his teammates are using the big Hunter Speedy as a massive distraction. And they had absolutely no way to hear the footsteps of Knight Rider because they had busy dodging laser beams. Stranger now trapped in between, has to push through, has no other choice. 2 consolation kills is all she wrote for him.
Another successful round for God Particles, and the thing is, their economy only strengthens. Meanwhile, for Salt Esports, theirs, well, quite the opposite, only weakens. You know, they invested everything in that previous round. They had the rifles, they had the full armor, and now they're on the brink of bankruptcy. They'll be saving up the credits for the next one. The good thing is, Salt Esports, they do have the round loss bonus. But does it even matter when you have rifles and you're still losing and the opponents aren't dying? I mean, Knight Rider, 1 death as of now, and it's been 5 rounds. He's only died once. Scargott as well, similar figures. So you just have to have a look at what exactly Salt Esports and how exactly can they improve their gunfights. Because be it rifles, be it pistols, they can't put a dent into this roster of God Particles.
Finally, Salt Esports taking initiative, pushing up all towards A lobby. But did they expect Knight Rider to be on long? No, sir, they did not. And while they are aware of the fact that Knight Rider is present over here, can they do anything about it? Absolutely not. Jivix has spotted the actual execute. Tells his teammates, guys, that's where the actual execute is happening. It's towards C. But hey, guys, you're in the grave and there's no salvation. 6-0. This is looking like a horror movie at this point. Knight Rider is sitting on 13 frags. Are you serious? He's got his second Blade Storm ready already.
And it's only been 6 rounds. An average
It's just
like
6 rounds.
Well, for the side of Salt Esports, the good thing is Jivix also has his Blade Storm, albeit the first set. he has to use them, because how it stands right now, Jivix is the one who can and who is able to find a couple of the kills. The operator in his hands. Hopefully, this can be a big shift in momentum and in confidence as well. Even yesterday's matches scripts, we were highlighting how the operator in the hands of a team, and as soon as it gets even a single kill, can just give a boost of confidence. And now, looking at Jivix, there's Knight Rider, Jet versus Jet. Very soon, Jivix has got to make sure he does not give away this kill. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, the actual spike is there, the actual execute is there, the spike's gonna go down. Great kill with the operator, and now God Particles back off because the flurry of just this utility dump happens from the members of Salt Esports. The Hunter's Fury was there. There were many defenders peeking those corners as well, and it has resulted in mass casualties for the side of God Particles, and a situation with which they have to deal with, and not a lot of resources available to deal with as well. Only 2 members alive now.
Jesus. Just when we started to think that Salt Esports had this in the bag, they dumped a myriad of utility towards the Beast side. Instead of playing from that area themselves, they were just hanging along the peripheries of C-Link and A-Link, which would have been the good kill, which would have been the good play, but, at this point, they're just being forced to pick up these fights. Jivix does liberate some pressure, and that tells Shivy, hey, all the players have been spotted. They know that the Jet is somewhere towards C-Link, Strangers towards B. A should be empty, and that's exactly why Shivy's able to go out there, get the plant. But in this 1v2, how does he play this? Preemptive utility dumped. He can hear Stranger around the box. Oh my lord, he's going bird hunting today. Plucks Jivix off mid-air, and Stranger does get revealed. And he's just being played for time now.
Yeah, he is. Again, the HP differential is real. Shivy, he's been tagged a bit as well, sticking the half. Stranger getting tagged, and Shivy pulls off this 1v2 clutch. One really insane play and one quite smart. So again, great stuff right here from Ember and Shivy. Ember was just distracting the 2 defenders, and yes, he did die, but what that allowed Shivy was to get into good post-plant positions because of the time that bought him. No one was like Salt Esports are going to entirely fall for this fake. Yes, Shivy did plant the spike in a bomb side where Salt Esports were not expecting, but they could easily make their way through and to the A bomb side without any difficulty. It was just, it allowed Shivy that extra 5 to 7 seconds where he could go towards A shot and play from that exact corner, which he did, and which ended up in him getting another 2 kills, and with God Particles getting the 7th round on board. That's good stuff right here. Salt Esports, yet again, they've got upgraded pistols. Yet again, it's a similar result to what we've been seeing for the past couple of rounds. It's just decimation of the defenders.
Yeah, and I expect nothing else in this round either. It's just a bunch of sheriffs anyway. They're getting kills everywhere. A shot towards back of C. It's almost like God Particles are playing deathmatch at this point. They are able to get kills every single place on Haven. And when you have so many options, right? When you get a pick on A, most of the teams will start to gravitate towards this area after leaving like one lurker towards B. But now they're getting picks everywhere. And at this point, even God Particles are like, hey guys, where should we go? It's a happy problem that they have to solve.
Yeah, I mean, even in the timeout that the members of Salt Esports have called, having a look at the God Particles members, they aren't really talking much because I think they don't need to have any strategic talks. Exactly. They don't need to go through a lot of like strategy. This is what we're doing wrong. This is what we can improve on. Whatever they're talking throughout the rounds is quite self-sufficient. I'd say plenty with how they're playing. It's Salt Esports who have got to go through the entire phase of, rectifying and essentially acknowledging any of the mistakes. And honestly, Crips, I see this a lot of times. Yes, Valorant is a strategic game. Everyone loves strategy. Everyone loves these big brain plays. But at the end of the day, in a way, it does come down to getting kills. And this is an excellent example of one team is just picking off heads far more often and in far more quantity than their opposition, and the opposition, how it stands right now, can't really do much about it, because getting kills, having that mechanical ability to kill your opposition is something which takes a lot of personal time. You can't really change strategy. I mean, it's not like changing strategies. Instead of playing passive, you play aggressively. It's just grinding out deathmatch, grinding out, aim improvement games and software, and that's how you improve. Because having a look at the leaderboard, it's just the picture has been painted so far.
Chipik so bold. I like it. He knows for the fact that there's 2 players around the corner, so there's really no point of him sticking around here all by himself trying to get this kill. Oh my god. Hunter's Fury committed, and even the Rolling Thunder It doesn't affect Knight Rider. He's buying space for himself. He's buying all the frags. But this is skill that you cannot buy. It has to be earned through sheer hard work. And the element of surprise on the verge of an ace. It's just Stranger lying in between him and yet another piece of clip that will be repeated thousands of times. Skargod doesn't even want to fight. He's just letting Knight Rider go ahead and do the dirty trees. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Flexing his muscles so hard that it will rip his t-shirt.
If there's a teammate you want, it is Skargod. Usually,
Yeah.
whenever people are like, oh, I'm on a 4K, can I get that? Nope, you can't. You can't get
Yeah.
the ace. But in this case, Knight Rider, he absolutely deserved it. Because yes, the final 2 kills, like you mentioned, they were flexing, but it was the initial 3 kills that amongst all that was going on, the smokes, the rolling thunder, like you mentioned, the flashes, the Hunter's Fury, he went into the bomb side and he got
dodged
3
all of
kills.
it.
Parkouring his way through all the
Yeah.
furniture and just eliminating every single defender. He knew their locations. The defenders knew his location as well, but it still ended up with the same result. A blade in the skull of 3 members of Salt Esports, and now it's bullets.
Stranger too much. He's getting sucked inside. He only has one turret for cover, but it ends up working for him. Gets him at least a single frag. Gunnar tries to swing for the trade, but he doesn't get anything done. Jivix all by himself. Even if he dashes back, he's not going to be safe. He gets at least one. No immediate swing from Logista. It comes a little bit late, but hey, that enables Demon to come here just in time, but it doesn't enable him to do much else. Oh my god, I really did not think there would be such a massive difference in score when I started this game. I mean, God Particles and Salt Esports, they have been performing really well in all the other tournaments that they are playing right now, and I thought this would be
Exactly.
a level battle.
That is true.
Even though I did expect God Particles to win, I did not expect them to make it look so easy.
The thing is, Crips, this is the map choice of Salt Esports. After this, it's, if anything, God Particles are only going to be even more confident heading into Breeze, because that's the map they've chosen, and that's the map that they are far more confident in already before they even get into the server and play against their opponents. So, but again, we're still on Haven. Round number 11, the second half hasn't started. Maybe there's, I don't know, anything can happen. 11-1 curves, who knows? But Salt Esports, in order for that to happen as well, they need that one round out of these final 2. It is the penultimate round of the first half. Ultimates plenty for either one of these teams, and they should be looking to use these ults as they have been. And it's going to be a full-on split C-take. The Seekers are going to go off from the side of God Particles. The Hunter's Fury from Salt Esports can get a couple of kills. However, when are the defenders going to die? That's the question God Particles will be asking, and that's the question Skargod will be answering. That's a 2K, and that's a triple while he was moving. Gets rid of Darky. Salt Esports are down to the 2 members who can get killed. Stranger pushing into the bomb site all alone. He needs to isolate this gunfight. Skargod on low HP. Gets his head chopped off entirely. 2 versus 3 scenario. Cosmic Divide goes off. Audio cues have been shut off. And now Knight Rider with his operator, he pops off.
Jivix has information only on one of these players. Now he knows where the second one is. Has to just simply assume that there's 2 people on C long. But what can he do about it? No cover available now after the smoke. And there's people behind him too. He spotted Knight Rider towards Garage, but never would have imagined that he snuck in all the way behind him, especially with the Cosmic Divide cutting out all the sound cues. 11 mil. Oh my lord. Stranger's Hunter's Fury, he popped it horizontally, hoping that it will somewhat at least damage the members of God Particles as they try to move in. If not damage, at least disrupt their flow, you know, maybe distract them for a little bit so that it would create opportunities for Stranger and Jivix to pop off. Or maybe even Gunnar to do something, but it ended up being counterproductive. It ended up helping out God Particles instead, because they were just so comfortable around him. They are like one with water, and Jivix now being absolutely desperate, moving in with fury. Kills one person, but that's all. And at least he's managed to damage the Logista to 5 HP, so there is a chance that Salt Esports get at least one round in this half before it ends. But Gunnar's flank, it's just on the border. Logista still so aware about every position.
Oh, now Skargod.
Yeah, I mean, he got scared at the very
opening
least. He
peeked
saw 2 people, a double peak, so they at least dealt with him. So Salt Esports still have the advantage, but can they finally convert it?
Well, now God Particles know if there are two people behind them, there's only got to be one on the bomb side, and now they isolate two of these gunfights. The plant is going to go down on A. That does reveal information to Demon, but pushing through here, right through the gravity well, yeah, it just stops him, halts him dead in his tracks, and he has to make cover of his own. Now, thanks to him, yeah, for him, he's got a lot of cover to play with, but not a lot of angles that he can win gunfights in. Logista gets his fourth kill, and this is what the third member of God Particles who's gotten the 4K. It's been 12 rounds, so yeah, just God Particles absolutely popping off. The side swap is here, and Salt Esports, the one chance that they have in order to win, it's got to be in the pistol. They're here on the attack. What strategy will they be incorporating? I'm not really sure. Going for individual kills. The one good pattern that we've noticed over the course of ever since they took the timeout really is that they're not scared of peeking angles. They're just going to peek anything now. I mean, look at Jivix in the previous round. He went off with the Bulldog, with the Blade Storm, back on the Bulldog. Yes, he did die, but he got 2 kills in return. And I think everyone from Salt Esports is following that theory now. Is it working? How it stands right now? Well, having a look at the results, still no, but it's better than nothing.
Such an absolutely one-sided game.
Mm-hmm.
Did I expect something of this magnitude when I woke up this morning?
No.
Absolutely not. Knight Rider flirting with danger, and why wouldn't he? Danger flirted back, and he's practically in bed with it now. Successful so many times, but at least this time, fate doesn't smile upon him as easily as it has in the past.
Right. Now, just does right here, Frenzy, close quarter combat. That's going to be a double for him. Does he back off as he goes behind?
No.
Oh my god, he gets the third with the assistance of his teammates. And now the reinforcements are right here, all down to Stranger. There is a lot of danger. How does he evade, escape through all of this? Well, he gets 1 kill, that's something, but now everyone knows about this, not just in this server, but in European servers as well. They know Strangers right here in the corner, and everyone can go, yeah, they're not gonna push. They're just going to use their utility. I don't think they'll be peeking. No, they do. That's going to be the peak coming in. Stranger, that's the final bit of utility he has. He has to suffer for another 23 seconds to get his recon. However, in that time, the round is gonna get over, the match is gonna get over. He's got to do something right now. And Shivi does it before he ends this misery for the side of Salt Esports. And God Particles, will they take pretty easy win, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, just the lack of words from us tell you all you need to know about this match. I have absolutely no words to describe how terrible I'm feeling right now. I mean, I'm supposed to not even feel pain given how heartless I am, but bro, just nah. The last round, one last hope. Pressure's against you, backs against the wall. What do? They
Right.
go through the nebula one by one into Logista's crosshairs, straight down to the depths of hell, never to return again. I do not know if recovery from a loss like this is possible. And honestly, I did not expect a one-sided game today. Definitely not a 13-0. This is special, fellas. This is special. This does not happen often. I think this is the first 13 game in this season of Gauntlet. I might have to fact check that, and my producer does tell me that it is indeed the first 13-0 game of the season. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, achievement unlocked. We have just witnessed fatality.
I mean, it's not an achievement everyone would like to enjoy. I mean, yeah, God
Yeah,
Particles
me
members
not.
and their fans, they'd be like, they'd be happy, but still, this is a bit, it's just a little too much. You know, you
Yeah.
know that you can't overly celebrate that. But
Yeah.
at the moment, I'd say that so far, having a look at the highlights as well, I think if anyone at the God Particles organization wants to hit us up at the Esports Club, we've prepared this special highlights, only your kills for you. If you want to upload it on your social media, that's good enough, because that's all this match was, really. I mean, you know, looking at the scoreboard, looking at the kills, it was just God Particles getting frags, and Salt Esports, they just could not match that sheer force that God Particles had, the caliber with which they were peaking the angles and getting those kills right from round number 1, no matter the situation. I mean, look at this round. This was a 2 versus 4, and God Particles still ended up winning it.
Knight Rider alone on the seaside, getting 3 kills on his own, all while dodging a bloody rolling thunder. Have you ever successfully dodged a rolling thunder? Because I have never. It's
Nope.
huge. It covers the entire bomb site, but he dodges that. And then he dodges the Hunter's Fury too, both in the same round, all while making it look effortless, and
And
all while
getting an
he had
ace.
nobody and getting an ace, and while having nobody to cover him for trades.
Hmm.
Single-handedly, a one-man army, almost like Saitama, except he doesn't have a cape and he has hair. You didn't get the Saitama
Um,
reference. I can see it from your
I
face,
don't
but
watch
yeah,
anime. So
he doesn't watch
it's been
anime. I
so
realized
many
that a
every
little later,
single
but
time.
yeah,
Uh,
that my bad. My bad. That one.
no, it's
Although,
perfectly.
I,
If anything, I'm the one.
I mean, I did notice one thing. In this one, you will see that Salt Esports can't use much utility on the defensive side, partially because most of the Killjoy utility was being destroyed by the shock darts from God Particles.
Yeah,
We've
exactly.
seen that
Hmm.
so often that their entire setup on Garage and on B will be decimated. If the Killjoy set up somewhere on C or A, then maybe the turrets will still function. Otherwise, on B and Garage, they're just non-existent. And because of that, you will see so often that the Jet on the side of God Particles, this time being Knight Rider, he was diving into enemy territory so often. And he was
Yeah.
dying as well. He just threw his life up. If he would dive somewhere towards A link, his teammates would hit C. If he would dive Garage, his teammates would hit A. And then, while the Knight Rider, while he was supposed to be the entry fragger and the duelist, he later then converts himself into the lurker as his teammates go towards some other part of the map. And that transition between the roles, God Particles do it so flawlessly. It's almost like watching ballet. It's beautiful. It's mesmerizing.
Absolutely, and so is the scoreboard. I mean, looking at the side of Knight Rider, those statistics right there, they absolutely are mesmerizing. 426 average combat score, 121 economy rating, 22 kills. If there's any way you need to get on the MVP standings powered by Crucial here, the Esports Club Season 4, this is the way. How what Knight Rider just did, and what he may do on the map of Breeze as well. What a performance from this guy, and even other members of God Particles. More so it was the utility of someone like Shivi. Yeah, he didn't get the most of the kills, but like you were just mentioning, him using the shock dots, Embers, not only were his lurk plays and his late rounds, that's where Embers shined the most. There were many instances where he was stuck in this 2 versus 4, 2 versus 3 scenario, and he still got those late round kills. Early on, it was his utility, it was his gravity wells as well that were catching the eye and they were pulling all the members of Salt Esports. But every single member of God Particles did their job fluently. Salt Esports, on the other hand, I mean, we have to look at the kills. That was the major factor that just differentiated between how the teams are performing. That's pretty much it.
Did we expect this? Definitely did.
No.
Definitely not. But are we shaken by it? Surely. So to deal with this, to process all this, I personally need a little bit break, and I think even the players will take a little time off.
Yeah.
So we'll be back after the little bit, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and restock upon your snacks if you still have finished them. This game was so short. I think you wouldn't even have run out of your popcorn. So yeah, we'll see you guys in the bit. You guys are watching the LG Ultragear presents TEC Gauntlet Season 4, powered by Crucial, Intel, and 6x6. We'll see you on the other side.
From the legends of memory and storage, Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products, precision engineered for speed and stability. Crucial Ballistics.
Hey guys,
I'm Ankita. Welcome to Streamer Reviews, the place where you can watch gamers review the best new gaming laptops in the market. Gamers love exploring the vivid detailing of their favorite games. This demands a system that can support their immersive experience. So, we'll be checking out the Intel-powered Lenovo Legion 5, a laptop with features that let you dive into the exciting world of gaming. One of the most important aspects of the Lenovo Legion 5 is its 11th Gen Intel Core i7 processor, with a base clock speed of 2.3 GHz up to 4.6 GHz turbo. It flaunts 8 cores, 16 threads and 24 MB cache. The Legion 5 lets you untether your gaming experience with Intel Wi-Fi 6, ensuring you can enjoy your favorite games wherever you like. Play on the go with up to 75% less latency. The Lenovo Legion AI engine optimizes performance automatically to any of the top 16 AAA games you're playing, with auto detection dynamically allocating CPU and GPU usage accordingly to get up to 15% more FPS. Speaking of senses, there's another sense that's also important for an immersive experience: sound. Thankfully, the Legion 5 has this covered as well. A pair of stereo speakers enabled with dynamic audio gives you an immersive 3D audio experience. Why wait? Get your own Lenovo Legion 5 and dive into the world of gaming today.
One, two, three, let's go.
from the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics.
Hi guys, this is Zaya and welcome to Streamer Reviews, where gamers review the best new gaming laptops. We gamers are always on the lookout to get more out of our systems. If you're looking for a laptop that can exceed your expectations, check out the Dell G15 gaming laptop. Its 11th Gen Intel Core i7 processor surpasses my expectations with a max turbo frequency of 4.6 GHz. It also has a game shift key on the keyboard which triggers a dynamic performance mode to maximize the fan speeds to keep your system cool while the processors push harder. The G15 also sports an Intel Thunderbolt 4 port which boosts your transfer speeds to unbelievable levels with its blazing fast bandwidth of up to 40 Gbps. It also lets you connect all your accessories using a single port. It's obvious that this system is designed to go above and beyond to deliver the results that you desire. Get your Dell G15 powered by 11th Gen Intel Core processor now.
Welcome back, everyone. You're watching LG Ultragear presents the Esports Club Gauntlet Season 4, powered by Crucial with our apparel partner Six5Six and our gaming partner Intel. I'm CCV, joined alongside Crips, and we are bringing to you the group stages matches of Groups A and B. And right now, the match on hand, it is Salt Esports up against God Particles and Map 1 Haven. Well, Crips, do we need to talk about it, or is the score enough for the audience to realize what just happened?
Nope. Bury it. Forget it even exists. Move on. Unmarked grave, unmarked headstone, just saying wrong place at the wrong time. Wait, that doesn't make it unmarked, right? So that's a little bit hypocrite, but hey, you get the gist. 13-0. It's a really scary scoreline. I never expected this. And now we're going into God Particles map pick. Oh my god. Do you think there's going to be another 13-0, or will Salty Sports put up a little bit of a fight? Maybe even a lot of it.
Ooh, a lot of it. I mean, they can put up a fight. But what happened on Haven, I think the end result is going to be the same. The journey can absolutely be different. I think Salt Esports, the break that they had right now, I think they had a lot more to do in this break than the members of God Particles. They were just probably relaxing, making sure everyone's on the same page. Wouldn't have taken a lot of time. They won't have to take a lot of stress or pressure onto themselves. Their journey in the gauntlet is going smoothly. They're on the second seed right now. They will probably stay there. And that's as simple as it gets. God Particles do not need to take any bit of stress, like I just mentioned. It's the playoffs when they'll have to start performing for everyone to witness. Meanwhile, for the side of Salt Esports, yes, they've played fewer matches, but they still need to give the same results. So in their boot camp, what I'm thinking right now, in their voice call, wherever they are, all the players, it must have been heavy discussions about what they need to do, both strategically and as players themselves. They've got to make sure to land their shots. I mean, we saw the scoreboard of the previous match, and it wasn't pretty for the members of Salt. You know, they had single digit kills, 1 kill, 2 kill, 5. I mean, Stranger was the only one who had, I think, double digit kills. I think he had 10 of them. But apart from that, it just wasn't pretty. And that's not what I want to see from the side of Seoul. I want to see a better performance, and Breeze may give them an opportunity to do just that.
Although Breeze is just so complementary to the playstyle of God Particles, we
Yeah.
saw how fluidly they were playing on the attacking side in Haven. On Breeze, there's just a lot more opportunity to do the same because the attackers can play their defaults and get individually into such deep territories. If you don't have A halls under control, then God Particles will exploit the hell out of it. And they've defeated teams like, if not defeated, they've at least given a good run for their money to teams like Velocity and Global Esports on the map of Breeze. So Salt Esports definitely don't stand all that much chance. Either way, Salt Esports, they're picking up the agent composition, which enables them to gather a lot of information. The SOA, the KO, and the Cypher definitely should help them keep tracks of God Particles' movement. But is that going to be enough? Will God Particles just bulldoze their way through all that defensive utility? Or will side of Salt Esports be able to put up a fight? Let's jump into the game and find out.
Yeah, again, again, looking at the players themselves, I mean, the expressions haven't changed. It's the same thing. Everyone's serious. Just as there, but a bit of a smirk that he had prior to Haven as well. I saw while the screen was loading for him. And for Salt Esports, it's also a similar situation. It's just serious faces for their side because they know the pressure to not only win this match, save a bit of grace, get at the very least a single point out of this BO3 is onto them, but more so in the larger scheme of things, they have to get into the playoffs. Otherwise, it will all be for nothing the entire season. Yes, you will have improved, but every one of these teams, they like to play for the big bucks, and they obviously like to play for the glory that comes with winning season 4 of the Gauntlet as well, because this time we will have a new winner crowned, regardless of where they are from, Group A or Group B. But with all that being said and done, we're still in the group stages. We're still in map number 2 of Salt Esports up against God Particles. Let's start off with the pistol round. It is going to be the side of God Particles who will be on attack, and just like the previous game, they're right here, starting off into the A-bomb side. The toxic screen goes through, preventing and obscuring the line of sight. Darky pushing through it, gets a great kill. That's a second. And now God Particles, they're falling into the crosshairs of Salt Esports, but they still need a couple of more kills. Both of these teams do.
Oxen screen down. That doesn't allow the Shivi and Ember to crawl back into A main if things go wrong. They can't even go for the plant safely over here because they're getting peppered by Gunner and Jivix in this angle. Well, at least Jivix going down gives them a little bit of space. Now they don't have to worry directly about the doorway, but they both get revealed. Finally, Toxin screen comes back up. This is a very small window they have to spike plant and get out of here. But instead of planting, they are just simply getting out of here. Okay, good fallback, I guess. Good way to disengage and not take any losses. 3v3, I think the situation still favors the attackers because they can group up and hit a site with brute force and it will work. And while the remaining members of God Particles are moving towards B, they've still left Logista as a lurk towards A halls. And there's no utility to detect his movement. He can easily get a kill or two.
What God Particles need to fear right now is the time, not the manpower of Salt Esports on board, but the time. Logister needs to do some play to distract the defenders because look at them. Sova is pushing through from defender spawn. Demon from behind with the flank. No one from God Particles is expecting that. That's one kill isolated, and Shivi is all alone in the bomb side. Logista is there to his aid, and this is just cleanup crew instantly. 1 HP. Shivi survives. So do the likes and the hopes of God Particles winning this round. I mean, yeah, Cypher, he came in the nick of time. Had he not gone through mid, the ramps right there, it could have been a very different story since Shivi was all alone and he was going to be just bottlenecked from so many angles. He could have instantly died. The spike could have been diffused. However, God Particles prevented that, and that allows them to win the second round as well since they're going for the anti-eco.
Exactly. Logista's timing over there came in clutch. He got the one kill, which enabled Shivi to stay safe for just that second longer, and then he was able to reset his aim. in time to kill the last person, practically flicking his mouse pad, literally throwing his mouse to the other side of his desk. That's how quickly he turned around to get that last kill. It was incredible to watch. I just wish we could have seen it from his perspective. But once again, a flying start for God Particles, and I don't think much has changed, CCV.
I'm afraid, as it stands right now, much hasn't. But again, it was the pistol round. There were good opportunities from the members of Salt Esports. Hey, who knows? Maybe once they have better weaponry in their hands, once they've got rifles, they can click heads better. And since the time to kill will be fewer, Salt Esports can get those frags. I don't know. It's a theory. It's up in the air. So much going on right now. God Particles, they're just looking for map control. More so, they're looking for an entry. They're looking for a way to get a kill. However, it's going to be Jivix with the opener towards mid. He dispatches Shivy. Knight Rider's there with the Spectre. He's just hunting the Jet down, but in doing so, endangers his own life. And this is God Particles just unleashing everything, going full berserk. Ranked match, unranked. You peek whatever angle you want with whatever bit of utility you have. And it technically may just end up working in your favor, as it does for Logista right there.
Gunner isolated, has backup of Stranger, but at this point, getting the kill on Scargard accomplishes nothing. The post-plant positions for the side of Logista and Ember are still great, and Logista's already gotten a kill. Stranger doesn't even have a bigger gun. He's trying to go up against a Spectre. No way he wins this.
He doesn't. That's the end of round number 2, but far better than what we saw on the map of Haven. In this case, God Particles, they got dealt a lot more damage. And Salt Esports, the one good thing is the kills are going in their favor now. That is far better. They're getting more and more kills. Already, every single member from Salt Esports has 1 kill at the very least. God Particles as well, they've got more kills. However, what this means is the caliber of both of these teams, their headhunting capabilities, is becoming more equal now. It's not the same, not just yet, but it's far more equal, and that's what we like to see, because that enables far closer matchups and not quite literal whitewash 13-0s.
Yeah, but this is shaping up to be yet another match like this, unless Salt Esports respond. They might do so by getting a couple of kills onto players who are getting tagged through the Sova utility. Stranger knows there's a couple of people in that region, but I think there's 3. There's nothing he could have done about this. Night Rider getting a kill and already moving across the other side. Stranger can't do anything to stop them, really. He just has to concede the site and hope that the retake will work for them. There is still Jivix in the site, making things easier as he holds on with all his might. Finally, the backup from Stranger comes in time, and he's relevant again to wipe up the rest of the crew. And that is Salt Esports getting their first round of the series.
Jivix. I mean, yeah, the MVP right here from double doors, the kills he was getting, absolutely like splicing the defense. Also, well, technically the attack of God Particles right there in the bomb side. 2 of them towards pyramids, 2 of them near defender spawn who were trying to get rid of Stranger. And thanks to Jivix, that round has absolutely gone in favor of Sol, because had that not happened, Stranger, he himself would have been in a tougher position than he was earlier, and he may not have been able to get the double kill. Regardless, God Particles, they have lost their first round, like you just mentioned, this best of 3. It may be time for their second, as they are on upgraded pistols, and Salt Esports, this is their time to shine, deal even more damage. The cyber cage from Register goes up, allows easy rotations from attacker spawn towards B side, where the members of God Particles are looking to attack. Now they have one bit of assistance. We've heard the audio cue. It is the Blade Storm, and that can deal damage. Knight Rider has to use those blades like he was using on Haven to deal immense damage, pick up those rifles from the members of Salt Esports, and now with him pushing through mid, the spike is still over at Castle, not really sure where it's gonna go, but the blades go directly into the skull of Jivix. That is the first kill for God Particles right now.
The only thing working in the favor of Salt Esports is their man advantage. And an even better thing is that they've dealt with Ember. That's the lurker down. But in doing so, Scargard has managed to creep into the B side. Now, while they can hear the spike plant, they don't know that Scargard is the only one over here. If they swung him like 5 seconds ago, they could have easily denied the spike plant. They could have easily taken this area in control. But they don't know that he's alone over here. They still assume things for the worst. And Knight Rider's flank could be amazing. Oh no, not anymore. All his teammates towards B are dead, and the spike can be diffused easily. All Stranger has to do is buy some space for his friends, and he doesn't even need to pick up a fight to do that.
Well, he still did. Unfortunate for him. That's a triple kill for Knight Rider. He picks up a Bulldog. Fair enough. You know, that's a gun save for the next round since he can't really use its Blade Storm anymore. But the members of God Particles, they're going to drop that Bulldog. They're still going to go for all 5 Vandals Phantoms for their side. They want them. Meanwhile, for Salt Esports, yeah, Jivix has got the Blade Storm. It's now his turn with the Blades to make use of that. And again, full buy from both of the rosters. They've got a couple of ultimates unlocked. The Viper Spit is there. We've seen the Blade Storms out. This is a pretty influential round for both rosters right now. They need this not just for the round count win, but also to, you know, damage the opponent's economy, because now economy is shaping up to be a major and very important factor. Look at Jivix. He has pushed through right here. He absolutely can get just so many people off guard if the members of God Particles aren't aware, which they may not be. The spikes here as well. Jivix!
Seekers detect him, and that's the element of surprise gone. To add extra cover, the secondary Viper Spit has been deployed as well, but Shivi hasn't been covered by the toxins, so Jivix is able to get at least that 1 kill. His position over here at least denies the postman positions for God Particles, but the moment I say that, he's gone, and God Particles can retreat deeper into the A main region. As if they didn't have enough cover already, Ember and Scargott now not even caring that they have the cover, going above and beyond it, challenging the gunfights. They just simply don't care. They smell blood. They want it. Like hungry sharks who haven't been fed for weeks. God Particles had absolutely no reason to go pick up those fights over there. But does that stop them? Nah, it doesn't. Any sane team in that position, after securing the advantage, would have just held their ground. They know that the Viper Spit will keep them safe. They even have A main positions available. But no, they just want to pick up the fight, don't they? They just want to be aggressive. They really want to rub salt into Salt's wounds.
Yeah, now it's going to be the guns of Salt Esports, damage from Salt and Seawater as well. They can't retrieve those rifles, so they have to make do with the upgraded pistols. Like I'm saying, economy going to be a major factor. We have seen both the teams shifting and turning with the guns that they can afford, with the guns that they can buy, but they have to make do with the best of the situation that they have, and already Darky and Jivix were trying their best. Jivix is able to tag a couple of the members on the side of God Particles. Logista pushing through right now. Neural theft goes off, and his presence has been detected, but so has the location of every single member on the side of Salt Esports, and they're looking to be picked off by the members of God Particles. That's exactly what's happening. 2 headshots, 2 Vandals, 2 different players, but the same result nonetheless. This can be another kill. Knight Rider, we've seen him get great kills before, just taking his sweet little time in this one, but that allows God Particles to plant the spike as well and, you know, get that extra economic boost.
With nothing to lose and everything to gain, Gunner and his null command available. He tries to push on, but before he can even take his baby steps, Knight Rider will chop his legs off and his head too. Oh, well, I mean, there's at least a few things that Stranger would have been feeling in this round, wouldn't he? Like, he can see Logista use his cyber cages to venture even deeper and deeper into A halls, and he must be fuming right now because he's got the information, but there's nothing he can do about it. He can't even try to spam through that cyber cage hoping to connect the shots because he's only got a sheriff. And then the gall of Mr. Logista over here to take his hat off in front of Stranger and use that neural theft. It must have been so infuriating for him. And even further frustration for Darky as his tripwire is destroyed without touching anybody. He can't even do anything. He's just trapped behind that half wall, and now he has to dodge the Hunter's Fury. Well, Stranger fights fire with fire and lasers with lasers. Seekers get popped, hoping to buy some space for the members of God Particles over here, but Scar
That's the operator gone.
Getting every kill possible, and he doesn't seem to stop right here. A triple for him, and this man is on fire.
Salt Esports, this is damage control for them right now. They know they can't make do with the situation. They're peeking into the flashes. 4K for him. Scargor, he finally bites the dust 6 feet under. However, his team, they are 5 feet above the members of Salt Esports as they win another round. I said damage control because with the body of Jivix, the operator had been dropped, and such a heavy investment had been made for the side of Salt Esports. They really couldn't afford losing a lot of the things that they had invested in this round, but they still did. They were fighting for that chance. However, it has resulted in greater, more diminishing returns. It has resulted in yet another. I'd call this a semi-eco. You've got, sheriffs, you've got half armor. So they're still looking for a force-ish kind of buy, but it's just not enough to deal with what God Particles have on board. Not only do they have rifles, but they've got a lot of utility as well. Case in point, Trailblazer. Case in point, the shock darts that are going off, the flashes, the guiding lights, everything assisting the attackers into executing onto the bomb site. Oh!
Darky buying a little bit space for his fellow KO to fall back, but even when he does do that, does it get them anything? No, sir. Only a bullet in the head.
Planted.
At least they get a consolation kill on Night Rider, but can Demon do anything else? Nah, he's gonna meet God when he dies over here.
Yeah, that was, yeah, granted it was a semi-eco, nothing much could be done. That was that. God Particles back on their older ways now, on attack, winning. But yet again, I would like to ask the question, like, on defense, what exactly happens? Because God Particles, they only have a single Sentinel on board. As a matter of fact, both of the teams do. They are both playing, practically the same composition with only a single difference of the initiator. That's the only differentiating factor. So as soon as GP goes on defense, can they really use the initiative utility, the trailblazers, the guiding lights to assist in the defense, or will they have to rely on something like the firepower, which Salt Esports have to do? Well, we've got the null command. Demon goes down. That's another player gone. However, Jivix gets the trade. Another operator on board. But that's an operator lost in Scargod. He doesn't care. He's not lost in the sauce. He's making sauce out of the bodies and the blood of Salt Esports. Another... yeah, that's another multi-kill.
Bro, this is straight up bullshit. Okay, Scar God. There is the Viper utility in his way, right? What is that supposed to do? It's supposed to cover his entry into the site. So it's there for your protection. But what do? You discard protection and you just dive in head first, get 3 kills. It's like taking off your bulletproof vest and jumping into a gunfight.
For style points.
Style points, of course. I can do it without armor. Look, man, no cover needed. What is my fellow Viper doing over here? He's basically telling Ember to come in and join on the fun instead of using his utility to create something. Space in this case. Night Rider can create his own space. Look at the way he dashes in on top of the ladder, and he's able to get a clear line of sight on the stranger. No. So that's where you overextend. He saw 4 people over there, should have gone back, but does he care? No, he doesn't. And that actually results in a little bit of help. Stranger's trapped. He's got too many places to worry about, and Logista finally comes back, shoots him in the head, and falls back to safety as well. Now they're kind of trapped, but the spike is deep inside enemy territory, and they need a way to retrieve it. With the spike down, their only option is to kill other people, and I think that's a convenient solution for a problem like this.
Oh, though, okay, yeah, just being cornered off quite literally from too many angles. It was a great execute from God Particles until they got diverted by the greed. I won't say just the spike, but the greed of getting kills. I think that's what got to them. Because we saw so many members coming in from mid. Yes, it was a golden opportunity to capitalize on the backstab of Salt Esports where they hadn't been looking, where they weren't looking. But it still split your entire team before the spike was planted. Now, like you just mentioned, Crips, exactly. That was the major factor right there. Because of which, had the spike been planted, it could have been far easier. But because it wasn't, all the pressure was just put on to God Particles members. But they still severed the storm and they were victors in the end. Now, Salt Esports, yet again, a round where they have the rifles, they have the necessary gunpower. 3 members on A. Night Rider openly peeking that. And yet again, the operator of Chivex, the Vandal of Stranger. And in this case, God Particles, okay. Yeah, this is just sheer greed. They're walking into the bomb site without checking anything. Look at Chivi right now. He doesn't have any bit of support. Ember's there towards Halls. He picks up 3 kills, that is. But yeah, he just walked into the bomb site.
Yeah, you could feel it in the way that God Particles were moving. You could feel it in their blood. They were being overconfident in that round, and they rightly got punished, so I'm glad that Salt Esports was able to do that. If they were not able to do that, then it would have encouraged even further reckless aggression on the side of God Particles, and at some point, overconfidence does come and bite you in the butt. Hopefully they are a little more careful next time. But Salty Sports got one round as a desperate breather. They needed this, otherwise they wouldn't have been able to afford weapons in this round.
Exactly. Yeah, they lost quite a bit of manpower as well, so it's good they won the round. Now, heading into the second half, I would highly recommend Salty Sports to win this round, which they have good opportunity to do, especially after the skill onto the top fragger on the side of God Particles. Again, just very vulnerable peaks from Scar God. I get what he was trying to do. He was so out in the open as an initiator without utility. Not only something you'd like to do. Night Rider in the meanwhile, he's not an initiator, he's the duelist. He's got the operator checking the angle, not checking the corner. That allows Jivix easy little kill right there. Dot particles, they're being picked off one by one. And the members that have infiltrated into enemy territory, well, they can't really do much because the spike is still with Shivy towards attacker spawn.
Jivix finally getting the multi-kill he needed. Logistak puts his killing speed to an end, and while Jivix, he was about to receive backup from Darky, Ember has cut off that backup line. Even finally dealing with lurkers, but he will deal with everyone in the process. Oh, I feel so bad for Jivix right now. So, the way he was able to get the kill on Knight Rider was because Gunner was towards double doors, actively shooting and creating a distraction. That kept the attention of Knight Rider focused on Gunner, and that's how Jivix was able to get that free kill. Then, of course, he did not really have an advantage when he was fighting Shivy, when he jumped up on top of that box. It was a fair fight, and Jivix was able to win it straight up without any assistance. So, points for that. But after all that was done, after all that effort, and it was probably one of the first opportunities that Salty Sports had to get the first pick in the round. Otherwise, they were the ones who were getting picked off. Even after that, they can't convert the round, and Ember just comes in from behind to sweep everything under the rug. Well, at least it's a 9-3, so, you know, superstition and whatnot, but I've learned not to speak about that when I'm with you.
Good. Well, now that you've mentioned it, it's kind of a, what's the thing
kill,
called?
isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's a 21 something 21. The book. Never mind. I'll say it when I remember. Exactly. Nonetheless, right now it's going to be the side of Salt Esports who are on attack. This does give them a solid opportunity, like it did on Haven, but back then it didn't pay off. In this instance, it may just. That's the initial kill, but it's quickly neutralized by a trade coming in from Scargor. So both the teams equal man count right now. The spike's still over at A main. And this backstab from Knight Rider, I mean, it's getting so much information that all of the attackers are near the A bomb site. Stay there. However, Darky, playing from castle, playing towards mid, gets 2 easy kills. And now Knight Rider, his job is to eliminate does, but still, it is a 2 versus 3, and Salty Sports can, like you say, brute force their way into the bomb site.
This should finally be an opportunity for Salty Sports to secure the pistol. Both their opponents low on health. 1 bullet each should be able to dispatch them. And Jivix a little labored, but he finally does put him in the coffin. But Ember might just have the ability to clutch around beyond the grave. Gunner denies it. Zombie hunt for them. Finally, Salty Sports having a little hope. After winning this pistol, they must. And 100% must win this round, because I have a feeling God Particles will do something ridiculous in this round. They won't force, but they will go for some or the other random push. They've done so in the past, and my spidey senses are tingling.
They can absolutely do something. And I finally remember it's catch 22. So by not saying you're not going to mention the curse, you kind of inherently mention the curse, and that's the whole base of the movie. The novel Catch 22 as well. Nevertheless, a little bit of trivia here and there, and a little bit of a Marshal being invested by Knight Rider. Now we have seen, even in Ecos, Jets going for the Marshals. It's become a mainstay here in all sorts of and all tiers of Valorant, and it can pay off, but Knight Rider really has to click the heads, because his teammates, they can and they will fall very shortly. They've just got classics to their assistance. Meanwhile, the opposition, they're running around with Spectres, and Scargod is running for this kill. Close quarter combat. Nah, Darky, he still gets the frag. So does Gunner and more of his teammates. And now it's the man himself. It's the Marshal itself left alone. And okay, he survives with 56 HP relatively. Escapes that situation. But how long can he escape for, really? Not much.
Well, at least my prediction of God Particles doing something ridiculous did come true.
That is true.
They dumped bodies into elbow. Just absolutely not caring for their lives, right? that's the movement of a man who has nothing to lose. And God Particles is just feeling so damn confident right now. They are willing to fight God if it requires them to win. I mean, they will do anything. So let's see. When they do have something to lose, when they do have the better weaponry, logic dictates that God Particles should play this round in a little more disciplined fashion.
Yeah.
Whether they adhere to those rules or not is something that is a completely different story. But we'll find the answer. We'll find the conclusion to that story soon.
Yes, we will. Now, Skargot's right in the bomb side. The dive agent doing his role perfectly. And Jivik gets the kill. The flash. Excellent bit right there. And now, Salt Esports, they get the entire site to their control. Knight Rider, he sees the danger is too imminent. And the defenders are being held off by all sorts of utility. The toxic screen, the owl drone, the fragment coming in from KO as well. And because of that, God Particles, they've all assembled right here onto the bomb site. However, they are dying. That's the major problem. Regista, does he check the corner? Oh, well, it's going to be Shiving getting the kill nonetheless. Here are the two supportive players coming in from B main. They need the assistance of Ember as well. But all members of God Particles are right here. It's going to be a one-sided retake. And it may just end up in their favor. 3 versus 2, 3 versus 1. They have the man advantage. And it's Gunner all alone with the Spectre.
They get all the kills, but they can't get the defuse. Even though it wasn't a successful retake, I have to point out the way that these guys, God Particles, use the bait and switch mechanism so well. Logista up in that window, creating a distraction while Shivi gets the frag. Perfect. And with that, all three defenders were coming in from B main, a position which Salt Esports expected to hold, but they were not prepared to lose it. And that's why they had to adjust. Demon also ended up dropping his Toxin Screen at the first time, which basically screwed over his teammate who was hiding towards B Link. But at least the remaining two members towards the back side were able to hold on long enough. So yeah, it got a little shaky, but Salt Esports stabilized themselves, and they've survived the worst. They've survived the bonus round, so it's now God Particles who doesn't have better weaponry. Salt Esports can continue to press on. They finally have an advantage, and they want to make the most of it. But will they get to? Apparently not. Ember, having a hero Phantom which he saved from the last round, gets one kill, but his teammates can't follow up. Finally, Salt Esports are able to get a lifeline. I hope they can hold on to it, because it's as thin as a thread.
Yeah, absolutely is right now. Salt Esports, they need this map in the overall sense of how the gauntlet is going. And so far, they are well on their way to get it. Shivi now with the Marshal. He'll be looking for a kill. Has missed both of the shots right now. Unfortunately, just bombarded by attackers speaking him from all those corners. It's going to be the 7th round, and now this lead has quickly been diminished into practically being neutralized. Well, this is another, well, I'd say one final opportunity God Particles have to reach double digits. It's going to be their full buy round. If they lose this one, the next round and the economy isn't going to be looking pretty as well. Not to mention, they do not have any ults for this round. Meanwhile, Salt Esports, they have two very influential ults unlocked. You've got the Null Command, then you've got the Neural Theft as well. On a large map such as Breeze, not the agent, the map, which spans over a lot of square area, you need information as to the rotations of the defenders, especially if you're a team like Salt Esports, which can seem to execute wherever you'd like and at whichever point in time you'd like. You need that neural theft to assist you with any info you can find. So God Particles not having any ults right now puts all the pressure on their mechanical ability to get those kills, and that's exactly what they have to rely on, just like they were on Haven, to get those kills.
And this is such a stark contrast in the playstyle of these two teams, right? God Particles is a team that spreads out, plays their defaults. They love having one of their players push A-halls or push mid, and then let that player do his thing, work his lurk magic, and somehow the rest of the players find a way to enter the site while their players are actively lurking around. So they have a very split approach. Salt Esports, on the other hand, are the polar opposite of that one. They are the ones who believe in hardcore executes, and so far those executes have been working. The cover provided by Demon's Viper utility, followed by the flashes from Gunner, they are perfect. And when you put Jivix in a dashing position like that, on the back of all those flashes, he's able to clear out all the opening frags and win that area for his team so that they can just, break open the floodgates, pour into the side, get that spike plant, and then just hold their angles, bite down on the what are those things that you put in your mouth during a boxing match, right? The retainers, something you just bite down and
The
then
mouth
hold.
guards. Yeah.
Yeah, just hold on to the side with everything you've got. Put on those mouth
Hmm.
guards, put on those helmets, and hope that god particles don't shoot you in the head.
Yeah, and the thing is, the executes of Salt Esports, they work in multiple stages. You mentioned the initial execute. After the spike is planted, they have another wave of barrages being
Yeah.
thrown towards the members of God Particles. We just saw that there was the Owl Drone, there was the Fragment, then the Toxic Screen comes back up for the second time as Viper has enough toxins to, execute them. And because of that, God Particles, they cannot, the weakest point of an attack can be, I mean, obviously, while they're executing, it's pretty weak. But while they're planting the spike, and while they're just getting comfortable into the situation of the bomb site, that's quite a vulnerability that the defenders can exploit. However, again, Salt Esports do not allow the opposition to do that, as yet again we have this execute. Now Knight Rider, is he flashed? I think he was flashed yet again, and as soon as he was not flashed, he fell back. But yeah, even with the dive agent, perfect execute right here. Spike has been planted. Now it's time for the second wave of attacks being executed from the side of Salt Esports. This time it's not fragments, it's going to be the Viper Spit, and it's going to be Scargod because of the reveal getting that kill. Darky has also been flashed. Now Scargod needs to find this kill, but Ember does it for him. It's going to be another retake coming in from B main. The same thing God Particles did in the previous round as well.
Exactly, and it works like a charm every single time. You're able to get the player under window perfectly using the right switch. But this time, the flashes from the side of Salt Esports are also great. They've seen it before. They know for a fact that this is all coming from B main, and they position themselves accordingly. They peek at the same time on the back of Gunner's flash. So they're able to weather the storm, and I think they've figured out the retake pattern of God Particles. This is the perfect way to win over this B side, and I think they're gonna continue doing this till it doesn't work. You know,
Exactly.
if it's not broken, then why fix it?
Why fix it? Yeah, but there's got to be a time where God Particles have to realize that they need to find a counter. I think this is the round where they have to do a lot of theory crafting. It's an eco. No one's expecting God Particles to win here. They've got a 4-man stack on the A bomb side. The spike is still over at B. So I expect Salt Esports to take the win here as well. But with that being said, yeah, God Particles have to soon realize that, like it's been said by Voss in Far Cry 3, the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And God Particles, if they try the same retake, it's not gonna work out. Salt Esports have it figured out. Now, in this case, I mean, regardless of where God Particles are retaking from, it's not going to work out regardless because of the disparity of the guns. Gunner gets the initial kill. The fragment has been thrown off towards the castle section. All the defenders in attacker spawn right now. They'll be good for 1 kill. Maybe a second for Ember. Oh, that's just unfortunate right there.
At least now we know that Salt Esports have figured it out. So until God Particles come up with a new thing, they probably will not be able to deal with this. And that's exactly why you see this eco round from God Particles, right? There's so much that happened even in a insignificant round like this. Salt Esports tried to sell their first fake. They put in the toxin screen towards the A site. They also asked Stranger to send his drone in. And then after doing all that on A, the remaining members of Salt Esports went towards the B side and they were able to plant without any resistance. There's no defenders over there, so free bomb site capture for them. And in response, they once again saw God Particles going for the same approach, having their players take control of bottom mid first and then go in via either cannons or from B main. So Salt Esports have gotten all the information they need, scores tied, and this could very well be the first time in this series that Salt Esports take the lead. That is, if God Particles don't change their approach.
They have to. If there's any one round that God Particles need to win, it is this one. They've got 5 ultimates on board. Operator there. There goes the Hunter's Fury, the Seekers, the Viper Spit. 3 of the ults are going to be utilized. One of them grants a kill. The second granting a lot of information. Jivex there, Scar got excellent headshot. Now he falls to the ground as well, but God Particles, they have a lot of information. Again, the location has been revealed. Jivex is looking for another kill. Salt Esports cannot for the life of them plant the spike. Well, they do it right now. However, God Particles are just going to collapse onto them and they're just going to kill every single attacker out there. Well, there's only one out there. Now it's turned to none. God Particles with only a single casualty win this round. Was it expensive? Absolutely. 3 ultimates is no joke. But hey, if you have lost 6 rounds, Crips, the teams will do anything.
Yeah, this was a desperation move, and I'm glad that God Particles are able to win this one. With this, they've at least broken this ridiculous win streak that Salt Esports had been getting. But they
True.
need to keep doing it again and again. Salt Esports have 9,000 credits. They've maxed out on their bank accounts, and they're gonna have unlimited funding. They're gonna keep coming at them again and again. There is one thing, though, that we noticed. When Jivix tried to pull off something from God Particle's book, that is, go into a deep enemy territory position and try to elevate some pressure, it doesn't work. Like, Jivix was in desperate need of backup. He had players coming at him from castle, he had players on top of the bridge, even on top of that ramp. So he was trapped over there and there was no backup available, so they sever off those threads and they leave him to die. Ember, not getting detected by the Sova utility, will eventually be shot by Jivix and of course the laser beam too. So that's a little unfortunate. Scargard hasn't been detected, he tries to push and he does kill Jivix. Now the two remaining members in the site are kind of trapped. They need the Viper utility to fall back towards A main, without which they will be so vulnerable to Shivi's utility. They were
God.
trapped over there and Shivi detonates the bomb, blows them apart. It's just Stranger and there's nothing he can do. He doesn't even have a line of sight onto his enemies. A random shock dart kill is all he can hope for, but Shivi tanks that damage like an absolute Chad and continues to hold on to the defuse.
And God Particles hold on to this round. I especially like the counter toxic screen that was emitted from the side of God Particles because it cut off A main entirely, did not give the members of Salt Esports any line of sight from there. And you know, if you're going for an all A main execute like what Salt Esports were initiating there, you need A main assistance, you need the line of sight. Without it, what's the improvisation Salt Esports are going to come to? If we don't have a main, why not stay in the bomb site looking for kills? That's exactly what they did. 3 members behind the pyramid on the bottom of our screen right now. 3 members were there and all of them just gobsmacked by utility, gunfire, just absolutely being fired at them. Shivi got a double kill with that shock dart. So God Particles, really good toxic screen, and even now it has been emitted by Ember. Although the kills is what matter. Jivix has pushed into halls. He's been seen. Shivi peaks, great kill. And now Salt Esports yet again, without your spearhead on attack, without your top fragger, where are you going to attack? You can't go on the A bomb side. You've just spotted 3 defenders there. B is your next solution, but it's just support players who are looking to get into the bomb side.
Yeah, and without Jivix to initiate, all those wonderful flashes that Gunnar has been using, they kind of have no purpose now. They finally find the camera, but it's a bit too late. Logis has already done the damage. He knows that the other players are trapped towards that planting region. They don't even have any opportunity to fall back. The little cover that the toxin screen is providing will very well be nullified by Knight Rider's invasive action, and his intent is not pure, not at all. That's map point, potentially match point for the side of God Particles.
Yeah, I'd still say the round number 10, which they won, the 3 ultimate round, it was a great investment. I mean, the dividends it has paid off, it is just, you know, it's so much than what they had initially gone for. The snowball effect it has led to with them winning the rounds. It's more psychological as well because Salt Esports realize their streak is over. They now have to fight up God Particles yet again. And they realize that as soon as God Particles got double digits, they're ever so closer to winning out this map. And now, GP, well, they're more closer than ever to closing out the entire best of 3. Like you just mentioned, Crips, it is match point, best of 3 point. A single round differentiates this team and securing spot number 2 in Group B of Season 4. Logista from mid, between the cyber cages, he gets a cheeky little kill. Ember follows through. Yes, Salt Esports are trying for kills. They've gotten 2, but in doing so, they've lost 3 of their own members. The spike hasn't gone down. And that toxic screen. Knight Rider, he was on the verge of getting an excellent clip for his montage. Right now, he has to rely on the billions of others he has gotten so far.
He's that triple kill for the Demon, gets in that Viper's pit, but the moment he pops
Head's
it,
gone.
his head gets popped. A little glimmer of hope is all that they get, and very soon the light will be expunged from their eyes, plunging them into the abyss unless Stranger pulls them out of this nightmare, delivers a lifeline, and he does, keeping his team in the game. And like Silva says, he will never give up.
Stranger was there. He had plenty of HP, but what he didn't have was positioning. Time was to his assistants as well, and that's exactly what he relied on. He waited for the God Particles member to show their faces so that, yeah, well, he could capitalize off of that.
Yeah.
Exactly what he did, and that allows Salt Esports double digits. It's still not over. Both of these teams, a lot to play for. For Salt Esports, economy doesn't matter. Whatever happens, happens. But for the side of God Particles, they lose this round. I mean, yeah, they'll have to force the next one. It's now down to just simply winning. No other factor is quite important. We are not in the middle stages. We are in the end game. And very soon, there is going to be a result determined as Knight Rider openly peaks. He gets one kill, but that was just far too aggressive. Well, good for him. He gets the kill of Stranger. So that's one of the initiators gone. However, the execute is right here into the bomb site.
Jivix is already all the way towards this broken wall. Skargod has no idea. He turns around and gets all of them. Shivi somehow managing to control the damage, but I think it's done already. 2v2 though. Spike on the back of Demon. If he can be spotted by Shivi right here, that would be wonderful. He knows that at least they're not coming back towards B, so he signals his fellow Viper to go hunting down on the A side,
no.
catches Docky. But hey, it's still not the spike, so the element of surprise lies with Demon. Of course, now that he goes in, he's gonna have to battle the Viper. And Ember, I think he has an idea. He knows where he is. Doesn't even look his prey in the eyes before he executes them.
Fair play to the side of God Particles to fight off, Salt Esports in such a manner. That was just absolutely insane right there. Salt Esports tried everything. They were so close, almost on the verge of victory, or at the very least getting into overtime. But no, it has been denied.
And rightfully so. God Particles prove that they are indeed the superior team in this matchup. Oh, by a massive margin, that too. I mean, sure, Breeze was a little difficult. It kind of tells God Particles that it's not as great of a pick for them as they thought it would be. But hey, they never expected to beat down the Haven 13-0 in the first place. So I think God Particles can still be very happy with the outcome of this game. Two great
Absolutely.
points they were able to keep, and I think this will keep them towards the top of the table on the second
Yeah.
spot of that group standings, just a little under Enigma Gaming. But for Salt Esports, not a good start for them, especially when they have so many matches coming this week.
Exactly. We'll be looking forward to seeing Salt Esports play as well. But from seeing how they have played so far in Breeze, it was an absolute joy. Looking over at the highlights, it was far, far better than what anyone had anticipated after the catastrophe that had happened on Haven. That was just. It's better to not mention about it. But God Particles here, through thick and thin, they survive and they prove once again there's no such thing as 9-3 curse. See, they were up 9-3 and guess what? They won. Why? Based on rational plays, based on their skill, and no curse, voodoo magic, whatever. But Salt Esports, credit where it's due, even they gave an excellent performance. And I mean, exactly, it shows that Salt Esports have got the versatility to play on different maps in which we don't usually see them. I mean, it's not every day where Salt Esports will pick something along the lines of a Breeze. However, the fact that they've gotten so many kills here, so many rounds, and that they're playing something along the lines of the usual meta as well with that double initiator composition shows that they have gotten the grasp of the map. They have the gist under control. Now they just need to add intricacies of their own to defeat their opponents and to essentially secure these maps as well and not lose very, very close, which in this instance, it was one of those cases.
Yeah, I think the good news for Salt Esports is that they at least can be content with the fact that their executes are great.
Yep.
No matter what map it is. I can't say the same for Haven, but at least in Breeze, their executes were definitely working. They were able to get those opening picks all the time. The combination of Gunner and Jivix was absolutely incredible. They were able to open up those sides really often and convert those opening kills into rounds as well. Because in Haven, we saw them get opening frags on certain occasions, but they were never able to convert those into a round win. At least here, that did not happen. Of course, towards the end of the game, God Particles also was able to figure out what was going wrong. They spammed this B main retake too often, and Salt Esports was able to fend it off every time. As the result, they were like, yeah, we gotta change our approach. We gotta kill these guys before they even get into the site. And that's when God Particles put a stop to this comeback that Salt Esports was mounting and pushed the pedal to the metal all the way to the end.
Exactly. God Particles did what Salt Esports were also trying on the map of Haven by being the aggressors themselves on the defensive side as defenders. We saw that one kill from Knight Rider with the operator. He was just entirely pushed up towards castle, towards the attacker spawn, and he got a kill. Did he die with an operator all alone with no way to retrieve that sniper? Absolutely. But it stopped Salt Esports, albeit temporarily, and that bought enough time for God Particles to come up with whatever plan they needed. They changed their strategy. They were not playing reactive Valorant. They were playing riskier, yes, but still quite rewarding Valorant, where they brought the fight to Salt Esports far before Salt Esports could conjure up a plan of their own to initiate into a bomb site, plant the spike, and play the post plan. And that led to this 13-10 win for them. And having a look at the scoreboard as well, this is a far more equal scoreboard. This is far, far better. And Ember, I mean, he has been Mr. Consistent right now. 300 average combat score, 25 kills.
Wow.
I mean, great performance. Not to mention his toxic screen and his Viper spits as well.
So 300 ACS, we finally breached that number as well. It's very rare for us to see an ACS of more than 300, and this time we see not one but two players having that. Jivix also was able to create that amount of space and impact for his team that he has about 300 ACS, but of course, the remaining members on the side of God Particles, they were just a bit more consistent. Scargod, with his amazing flashes, was able to give Knight Rider the space he needed. And even though Knight Rider himself wasn't fragging all that much, he at least got his team into the places that they needed to be in, and then Ember was able to hold down the fort very easily.
True. Exactly. I mean, there were so many instances where Scargod as well with the Sky. I mean, he was just popping off, especially early on, like rounds 4, 5, 6, those multi-kills, 3Ks, 4Ks, when it was just God Particles on a winning streak. But after that, the members of God Particles, they diverged into something more strategic and a bit more disciplined, like is the adjective you've been using. They were far more confident with the gunfights they were taking. It did result in a couple of losses, especially on their defense, but they got the win nonetheless. They got that match point, and that allows them to still stay in second position in the overall group standing. Speaking of which, let's have a look at them and see where Salt Esports are and where God Particles are as well. Because for God Particles, yeah, what were we saying? Their objective was, boys, let's stay in second position, and they're going to stay there as well. Enigma Gaming, again, because of the fact that God Particles have lost to Enigma, they cannot overtake them. That is, if Enigma lose a match, then God Particles may have a chance, but I'm not gonna lie, I see it highly unlikely EG are going to lose something. But I think God Particles at the end of the day are going to be quite satisfied with the second position they have. They only have a single more best of 3 to go in the group standings before they ascend towards the playoffs. The same cannot be said for Salt Esports, who still have a lot of fighting to do.
A lot of fighting indeed. Salt Esports, having lost 3 matches and getting only 3 points in the 4 games that they've had, is kind of a red flag. They're starting to run out of games, and they need to get at least a little bit more in order to get inside that top 4 and get close enough to push Exili Esports downwards. That's the objective that they need to uncover today. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, that was it from this game. But we are not done for the day yet. We have yet another action-packed match waiting for you at 8 p.m.
Yeah, having a look, we've got Only Friends up against Team T69 as well. It's been a while since we've seen these two teams. They've gone through their own roster changes, and they've been two teams which have had, I mean, so far it's been not the expectations we would have had from both Only Friends and Team T69. We've seen them in the previous seasons of Gauntlet as well. They've had far better performances, but hopefully today improve against one another as well. We absolutely need to see that, and overall it's just going to be a banger of a match, plain and simple. Yeah,
it's gonna be an absolute banger, so make sure that you guys are here for it. If you guys want, go ahead and subscribe to this channel and even click the bell icon so that you don't miss the notification when we go live with that match. Of course, some people need a reminder, so go ahead and subscribe to the channel, leave a like if you enjoyed it, and share this with all your friends. Of course, go ahead and check the description box as well for some amazing deals from our partners, Intel and Crucial. And if you like these jerseys, if you like the swag, go ahead and check out 6x6. We'll see you guys in a matter of couple of hours. So I guess goodbye until then, and see you soon again.
from the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics.
Hi guys, this is Zaya and welcome to Streamer Reviews, where gaming streamers review the best new gaming laptops. Gamers are an impatient bunch, and I've got a laptop just for you. Let's look at the top 3 reasons why the Acer Predator Helios 300 is perfect for the impatient gamer. Number 1. Its 11th Gen Intel Core i7 processor, which brings out the potential of the GPU's high-speed GDDR6 memory to ensure faster experience with higher frame rates and lower latency. Gamers hate long load times. That's why our second reason is the Helios 300's 2TB PCIe SSD. The SSD operates at PCIe Gen 4 speeds, giving you incredible read-write speeds for a faster response time. If all this wasn't enough, check out reason number 3. The 5th Gen Aeroblade 3D technology plus vortex flow, which lets you say goodbye to heating issues. Shout out to the Predator Sense dashboard, which lets you monitor your system, overclock, and customize everything instantly from one place. I think it's clear that this system is geared for super fast results. Get your Acer Helios 300 powered by 11th Gen Intel Core processor now.
Bye.